Hello and welcome to Creative Cat Productions, home of the best waffles and cream. Well, it looks like after 5 years of waiting, the world is finally gonna get a remake of House of the Dead 2 for the Nintendo Switch and all of the other consoles. Believe it or not, the game was first announced way back in 2019 when the Polish game publisher Forever Entertainment, the makers of Timberman, revealed that alongside a Polish game studio called MegaPixel, they were going to be releasing Polish versions of Panzer Dragoon, Panzer Dragoons Y, House of the Dead, and House of the Dead 2. A veritable Sega retro polka party. Yeah, baby, let's go! Polka, yes, yay! The latest of these, the House of the Dead remake, was released almost 3 years ago in April of 2022. And it was a modest success, garnering lukewarm praise from critics and fans who loved the idea of a high-resolution remake of Sega's arcade classic, even if this version of the game came to us without fully functional light gun controls. House of the Dead without the light gun? You might as well remaster the original Super Mario Bros. With motion controls. I mean, it would make just about as much sense. What are they gonna do next? Turn House of the Dead into a typing tutorial? Oh, and I take it back. House of the Dead as a typing tutor is one of the best things Sega ever did. If House of the Dead remake were a typing game, it might be a lot better. But instead, I'm expected to play this with the Switch Joy-Cons? I'd have an easier time playing Breath of the Wild with my Taiko drum controllers. To say the least, even though I'm a big fan of the original House of the Dead games and the excellent Dreamcast ports, which of course utilized the light gun and/or keyboard, I'm not really a big fan of the remake, not even with the supposedly improved graphics. Why did they have to make it so monochromatic looking? The original game was vibrant and colorful, enemies really popped out from the background, but these modern remakes are just so drab and generic looking by comparison. No sir, I don't like it. Boring graphics, no light gun, Nintendo Switch gyro controls?
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
But now here it is, a new trailer revealing that House of the Dead 2 remake will be released later this spring. And it looks to be about the same thing. And I have to say, I'm about just as excited as I was last time. Yes sir? This certainly is gonna be another one of those games. But still, it was House of the Dead, and I love it when stuff like this happens. So I decided to do a little research and learn what I could about the House of the Dead remakes and the Polish producers of the game. This led me to stumble across a rather interesting conflict that occurred between the House of the Dead remake development team and the House of the Dead fan community. A conflict involving accusations of plagiarism. In an interview with Multi-Brawler, a blogger at the Wiki of the Dead fandom page, House of the Dead remake co-producer and lead director Artur Grzegorczyn was asked a number of rather tough and direct questions about the making of the game. Questions about Sega's role in the project, the mysterious absence of almost any Sega branding, and most surprisingly, questions about where and how the Polish development team acquired information for use within the game's bonus materials. Multi-Brawler asked whether or not the House of the Dead remake team ever consulted the Wiki of the Dead or the website of the Dead for research purposes. A couple of fan sites which detail virtually everything that there is to know about the game, its history and its lore, including a number of character and enemy bios. Artur Grzegorczyn responded, "The translated official guidebook was our oracle, which was discussed with Sega in detail. Of course, we used any possible source's help in pre-production stage, including wikis or fandoms. Everything is there in the credits." Smiley face, Multi-Brawler, however, follows up this response with an absolutely mind-blowing author's note, stating, "The Wiki of the Dead and other House of the Dead community members were added to the game credits after plagiarism was found in the game." Plagiarism? The House of the Dead remake committed plagiarism against the fan community? What could this be about? Multi-Brawler clarifies with his follow-up question. The original House of the Dead's manual contains a lot of lore, material that didn't make it into the final game. Did the team ever look at these? Artur Grzegorchin responded once more that the team relied upon a guidebook provided by Sega, which was a major source for descriptions found within the in-game gallery. What on earth are these guys talking about? Well, after doing a little more digging, I think I know. But first I examined the House of the Dead Remake end-of-game credits, and sure enough, right there at the very end, under the vague heading of special thanks, were the following acknowledgements. The website of the Dead, Patrick Gardner, the real name of YouTuber Cory Maru, Timothy Ridiau, another YouTuber known as Egregious Guy, the Wiki of the Dead, Joshua Henderson, the real name of our interviewer, Multi-Brawler, someone going by the pseudonym of RRT94, Top Agent PGG Jr., Rose E, and someone named Roberto Costa. And that's really it. No real description of any kind of merit whatsoever, just a list of moderators and bloggers at a couple of fan sites. But why? The credits say absolutely nothing about why these specific people and entities merit any credit for the game. So I dug even deeper, and I found the following. On Twitter, on April 7th, 2022, just around the official launch of the House of the Dead remake, the website of the Dead tweeted the following thanks to Forever Entertainment, the Polish publisher, for including everyone at the website of the Dead and Wiki of the Dead in the game credits. They then offered some words of encouragement and acknowledged that they look forward to a House of the Dead 2 remake, which of course we know we are now getting in just a few weeks. Going further, I found the following tweet by the website of the Dead from March 17th of 2022, which retweeted a tweet made by the official House of the Dead remake team on the same day. Essentially, the website of the Dead observed that Forever Entertainment and MegaPixel had taken some notes from a source known as the Japanese Perfect Guide. Examining the original House of the Dead remake tweet shows that on March 17th, 2022, the development team had attempted to showcase the fact that within the game the players can access and read detailed enemy bios. And this seems to be where all of the controversy lies. A reply to the tweet included a comment by someone named Animated Andrew, who vaguely lamented the controversy surrounding a certain wiki entry. Further, in response to a deleted comment, the House of the Dead remake development team left the following apology. "We are sorry for the situation. It was a misunderstanding and an oversight from our side. The descriptions in the remake are translated from Japanese and from the official guidebook. We're in contact with admins from the Wiki of the Dead to correct this." So this is what seems to have happened. On March 17th, 2022, the House of the Dead remake development team tweeted screenshots of in-game monster bios, giving fans a taste of the kind of bonus features they could expect to find in the actual game. You can see here we have the Hermit, a big spider monster that has to be shot in the face. You have Bourbon, a green zombie, Kenfis, a winged dog, and Simon, a barrel-throwing zombie. You get the idea. Well, allegedly some or all of these monster bios found in the House of the Dead remake were lifted, verbatim, from similar monster compendium entries that could be found at the Wiki of the Dead website. Moderators at these fan sites saw the tweet and then freaked out when they realized that their descriptions had found their way into the final game, uncredited. And thus, a now deleted exchange ensued, ultimately causing Forever Entertainment and MegaPixel to include these fan sites within the official end-of-game credits, because these bios were a little too similar to what was posted on the websites. Now, according to the House of the Dead remake development team, this was not intentional, but rather a misunderstanding. They simply took information provided to them by Sega from a translated guidebook. However, in this interview with the Wiki of the Dead, the game's lead developer, Artur Grzegorchin, acknowledges plainly that they had consulted wiki and fandom pages to generate content for the game uncredited, which is why both this interview and the subsequent attribution formally occurred. Wow. Now, I've attempted to look up these specific monster bios from within the original controversial tweet, and I am unable to find an exact match. It seems that perhaps subsequent to this event, the wiki pages have been updated? I can't really say. So did the House of the Dead remake development team actually commit plagiarism? Once again, I can't say. The lead developer acknowledges that they accessed fan sites. The company apologized, and they even attempted to right the situation by including the relevant site operators and bloggers as part of the official game credits. That seems damning. But at the same time, it sure seems unlikely that the editors of a fan site, based on Sega's intellectual property from the 1990s, would have legitimate grounds for making accusations of plagiarism. After all, where did the fan community get the information for their own posts about all of the monsters in the game? It sure seems like it was entries from the game manuals and Sega's official guidebook, which again, were part of the materials provided to MegaPixel and Forever Entertainment to make the game in the first place. I think the most likely scenario here is that this really is just a misunderstanding, and that the site moderators saw what appeared to be substantially identical language in the tweet because both they and the game developers were relying upon the exact same source of information. Information which belongs to Sega and which the developers were licensed to access and utilize. So then why would Forever Entertainment apologize, engage in interviews, or add the fan site community to their official end-of-game credits? Probably just diplomacy and an attempt to cater to the core fan base in the weeks leading up to the game's public release. Even if Forever Entertainment and MegaPixel were completely in the right, and I'm betting that they were, it wouldn't have done them any good if they were squabbling with the House of the Dead fan sites right before launch. So instead of playing defense or making counter accusations, the Polish devs made the best move possible and opted to befriend and ally themselves with the very people who had accused them. Consequently, not only did they avoid a scandal, but simultaneously, they got the bloggers and moderators of the fan sites to heavily promote the game, which they had now officially become part of. And totally for free! The creators of House of the Dead Remake effectively turned a potentially damning situation into an opportunity to bolster their visibility. It's a little manipulative and probably insincere, but it was also a perfectly executed strategy, and I find this move to be more impressive than the actual game itself. Bravo, Forever Entertainment. My hat's off to you, MegaPixel. You found a way to weaponize toxic fandom without getting burned. So what do you all think of Forever Entertainment and MegaPixel? Have you played any of their remakes? Are you looking forward to House of the Dead 2, even though we live in an era without light guns? Please let us know this and more in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye now. You know what actually is a pretty banging idea? Why not make House of the Dead playable with the Taiko drum controllers? Yeah!